Find the vertices and foci of the following ellipse. Graph the equation. Before we work with this equation, let's focus on the two orientations for the ellipse. These equations are x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. And the other one is x minus h squared over b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared equals 1. So A is the distance between the center and the vertex along the major axis. B is the distance between the center and the vertex but along the minor axis. And the major axis is our longer axis, so A is going to be larger than B. And then we have a value of C over here, and C is the distance between the center and the focus. Now, because our A is in the denominator of the variable x, this equation is indicating a horizontal orientation. So if we were to just sketch a very quick picture of that, we would have a center. C distance away from that center, we have foci. And then A distance away from that center, we would have our vertices. And then going in a perpendicular direction, we'd have distance of B away from the center, our minor axis vertices. So we would get this ellipse that is longer horizontally. Then in the other equation, you can see that A is underneath the y. Remember, A is going to be larger than B. So A being under y means that this has a vertical orientation, a vertical major axis. So if I were to sketch that, we would have a center. C distance away from that center, we would have our foci. A distance away from that center, we would have our vertices. And then going perpendicular to that, we would have a distance of B away, our vertices along the minor axis. And this would be a sketch of our ellipse that's oriented vertically or has a major axis that's vertical. So with that in mind, let's take a look at our equation. It's x squared over 4 plus y squared over 36 equals 1. So I can see that the larger value is underneath the y. So this orientation is a vertical orientation, and that's going to tell us what our values of A and B and also our vertex are. So you can see that, or sorry, not vertex, our center. So you can see our center is 0, 0 because there are no numbers added and subtracted inside those squares. And then A squared is going to equal 36, telling me that A is 6. Then B squared is equal to 4, meaning that B is 2. This is going to help us find our vertices, but to find the foci, we have to know the value of C. And that's where this equation comes into play. There is a triangle that's created with A and B and across. This would be A. I think I drew that wrong. Let me fix it. So with B and C, and then going across here ends up being A with a little bit of figuring out. So you end up having a right triangle, and it gives us a relationship between A, B, and C with Pythagorean theorem. So using B squared equals A squared minus C squared, we can solve for C. B squared, that'd be 2 squared, equals 6 squared minus C squared. That's 4 equals 36 minus C squared. Can subtract 36 on both sides, giving me negative 32 equals negative C squared. Divide both sides by negative 1 gives me C squared equals 32, and I can square root both sides. Giving me C equals plus and minus 32 is 16 times 2. So that's plus and minus 4 square root of 2. So C is going to be a distance, which is positive. So that's 4 square root of 2. Now that I know A, B, and C, I should be able to find the vertices. So moving from the center, I like to do it with a picture. So from the center, your vertices will be up 6, going up because of the vertical orientation, and up 6 because A is 6. So we would have a vertex at 0, 6, and we're going to go down 6 as well. Vertex is 0, negative 6. For your minor vertices, minor axis vertices, those would be left and right, 2, because B is 2. So the minor vertices would be at 2, 0, and negative 2, 0. And then we can find our foci by going up and down 4 square root of 2. Now let's use our calculator to figure out approximately what 4 square root of 2 is. So 4 square root of 2 is just a little bit more than 5.5. So I'll go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit more. That brings me to my foci. So that's 0 and 4 square root of 2. And then I'll go down 5 and a little bit more to put me at 0, negative 4 square root of 2. And then I can sketch out with the vertices my ellipse. So this equation has vertices at 0, 6 and 0, negative 6. If you end up counting the minor vertices, which sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, that would be negative 2, 0 and 2, 0. And you have foci at 0, 4 square root of 2 and 0, negative 4 square root of 2. Thank you for checking out my videos. Have a great day.